with our gallery, we have a list of images that we're looping through, and each individual one, currently, we're just printing out whatever that data looks like. So the data that comes with an image, there's actually quite a lot of stuff here. And the way that we can look at individual pieces is by using these bits inside the square brackets. So these are what are called the keys or the attributes of this certain image, and we can get them by doing this. So if I say echo and then image, and then in square brackets put the name of the particular thing that I want to get. So in this case, I want to get the file name. Save that out. Remember to put a semicolon on the end there. We'll get the file name. So earlier on, where we hard-coded an image onto our page, we put in this one of 125 and we wanted to get the full width, and then we got the caption as well by its ID. So what we could do is to just copy this code, and we're going to put it inside of our loop. So before we do that, we're going to make a few small changes here. Where we have the curly bracket, we're going to change that to a colon and a closing PHP tag. And then here, we're going to have a PHP and then end for each. Now, what this lets us do is to put HTML and PHP inside of this block here. So whereas before it was just all PHP code, we can use the curly brackets like that. When we want to mix and match with our HTML, we have to use the colon, close off the tag, and then we put it in the middle. And this is something you just pick up mostly through just adapting code that you've already written, but this is the idea of how it works. So what we'll do is to paste in our code from earlier. So we have this div with a class of gallery image, and what it's doing is it's grabbing this 125 image every time and it's printing it out onto the page. So let's see what this does. We can remove this. Here's the gallery as well. That was just to test things out. And we can bunch our code up a little bit as well. So let's just format it a little bit tighter. Cool. So refreshing the page now, we're going to do a loop through all of our images in each of the galleries, and we're just going to print out this same image. So what we'll get is the same image over and over again because we've hard-coded this ID. But one thing we can do is we can say PHP echo and then image, and then in these square brackets ID. So if we do that, you can see we get this number above each image. So if I take this ID, I can then replace that inside of here. So here we get each image by its ID. And we can do the same for our caption as well. So if there's a caption there, we can say get the caption by the ID, and we see what happens now. So we've got these big images taking up the full width of the page. Currently it's trying to insert the caption regardless of where it has one or not. That's why we've got this blank space at the bottom. So what we can do for that is a clever little trick like this. So we can say PHP, and then we'll make ourselves a variable, and we're going to call this caption, and I'm going to say caption. And if we have a caption, so we can make ourselves a little statement here. We're going to say PHP if, and then in brackets, not empty, caption. We are going to echo out our caption. So firstly, we're checking to see if we have a caption. If it's not empty, so if we do have one, we're going to print it out onto the page using echo. And then we've got some closing PHP tags. So we're going to say end if here. So let me just close that. get our indentation sorted, and I'm going to write in some comments quickly. So here we assign our caption to a variable called caption. If the caption is not empty, we render it onto the page. Now, how we can say something is not empty is by using this exclamation mark. So this is something we have in JavaScript, where we put an exclamation mark before something and it will do the opposite. So it's essentially saying if it is not empty, then we print out our caption. So this if statement will run every time. It will check the caption. If the caption isn't empty, we render it onto the page. So let's have a look and see what this is doing on our page. And that's looking good. We still have a little bit of a gap there, but we've got our caption being rendered out there. So that's good. Now the way we can get rid of this little gap at the bottom is in our style.css, where we have this gallery image, we're going to say display block. Now by default, images are a bit of a weird one because they are inline block, which is a cross between an inline element like text or an anchor tag or a span tag, and a cross between a block element, so something like a section or a div. Which means when we have white spaces in our elements or between our elements, they get rendered out. So by saying display block, we make sure that they just align perfectly to their edges. So no spaces added in between. So this is good. We have our galleries onto the page. Currently they're just taking up the full width of the screen. So what we'll do in the next video is to style them up, give them some basic styling, and we'll look at how we can add these individual widths as well.